The zombie genre, a genre which definitely became bloated and overdone the years following its popularity in 2010, following the start of The Walking Dead, truly peaking in 2013. Personally, I love the zombie genre and everything that uses it. From books to films, TV shows to anime, I love everything that they are in. But the main thing I love zombies in are video games. I've played about every zombie video game with any semblance of critical acclaim or popularity to it. And in this video, I want to highlight a handful of games that I truly love in the genre. These games highlight what it means to be a good zombie video game, mainly in how they present the zombies and their gameplay, so story doesn't play a big part to me. The first game I would like to highlight is...
A state of emergency has been issued in Fortune City today as hordes of the infected have overtaken the streets. Former motocross champion Chuck Green is being sought in connection to the outbreak.
A desperate father in search of a cure.
I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I'm being set up.
Thousands of rabid zombies.
It's happening again, isn't it?
72 hours to kill.
Katie isn't going to be able to hold out that long.
Sorry, kiddo. Time for your medicine.
One big-ass roll of duct tape. To save his daughter.
Going down there is just plain suicide.
He will go through hell. To find those responsible, he will go through a hell of a lot of tape.
We have to take these bastards down. It's a real shame she has to die. It never stops. My name's Chuck. I know my way around a zombie.
Dead Rising 2. Creativity kills.
Dead Rising was made by the studio Blue Castle Games, whom changed to Capcom Vancouver and are now closed. They made all the Dead Rising games. Why is Dead Rising one of my favourite zombie games? And more specifically, why 2? Well, Dead Rising, mainly the first 2 games, represent a key fantasy about the zombie apocalypse, the ability to do what you want and go wherever. This freedom makes the games seriously engaging and helps to elevate the rather simple gameplay to an even higher standard. But let's dig a bit deeper into 2 and why I love it so much, starting with the story. Dead Rising 1's story was about uncovering what was causing the zombie virus. A neat, simple story that does twist and turn, but to me it isn't as interesting as 2's. 2, on the other hand, has a world which embraced the zombies, using them for entertainment. To start, we are introduced to Chuck Green and his job on Terror is Reality, as he needs to earn some money to make ends meet. After partaking in the event and earning some money, Chuck leaves the locker room and boom, zombie outbreak. Chuck quickly retrieves his daughter Katie, who will play a bigger role in the game, and together run to make it to the safe area of this game. We then learn that Katie is infected with the zombie virus, which was shown in a later DLC, Dead Rising 2 Case Zero. But we learn the world has created a cure, Zombrex, a way to delay the zombification process and keep people alive. However, Chuck hasn't got any left, so he needs to leave to find some. Scrapping in a pharmacy with some looters and saving his first survivor, he returns to Katie with the Zombrex, but he will need to find more. However, things get more complicated when Chuck is then framed for letting the zombies out. I like this plot, as now you have to find out who framed you and why, and balance keeping Katie safe. And the characters are all pretty fun in the story, from Chuck to TK, Rebecca and Raymond, they all are very fun and engaging. The game keeps its general cast tight but interesting, and gameplay is greatly expanded from Dead Rising 1, with the basic combat from 1 being expanded even more with new moves and combos. But not only that, there are more weapons to pick up with a larger variety of characteristics for each weapon. And that's not all. Take 2 useless items and put them together, you get a brand spanking new combo weapon which are introduced into the game, with a larger variety of these being available as well, such as the paddle saw, beer hat, the laser sword or knife gloves. The developers really let their creativity fly when making this game, with so many unique cool ideas for weapons being created. Dead Rising 2 also improved upon its map design. In 1, the game is based in the mall, obviously inspired by Dawn of the Dead. This is great, but the map layout does have something to be desired. The map is too much like a real-life shopping center in America, with certain areas being for certain things, such as a food court, a clothing area, or recreation area. Dead Rising 2 does a good job of balancing the map a bit better, with a more engaging map to explore. The more random layout makes looking in each shop feel very worthwhile. In addition to this, more shops are connected with back entrances and corridors. This makes the map flow a lot better and learning the map a lot more important. I love 2's map idea as well. The casino and strip make for a super fun and unique environment, and I wish more Dead Rising games continued doing maps like this instead of going open world by keeping it more restricted. An example of this could be a large theme park resort, which would also be a fun varied environment, but no, they went the full open world route, which kind of made the games worse in my opinion. The game is structured with a basic quest system, going to certain locations to activate a cutscene or escorting people for the side quests. The highlight of most Dead Rising games is the boss fights with the psychopaths. And 2 is no different, with some truly iconic psychopaths appearing, like Slappy, the Mailman, or Randy. Dead Rising's main appeal to me, overall, is the very serious story about conspiracy and betrayals, then having that heavily juxtaposed by the stupid side content and the things you do or wear as the player. This is what Dead Rising's charm is, and was, and a certain future game would lose this aspect. Dead Rising isn't fun because it's funny. The characters aren't even that funny, but the things that happen in the game are. So as you can imagine, a certain game lost the point of the franchise. The game also has some basic survival mechanics implemented with food and health and crafting with the aforementioned combo weapons, as well as the ability to make custom smoothies that do all kinds of things, such as increase your speed, let you spit fire, or just throw up. All great fun to experiment with. Now, as you can tell, I love Dead Rising 2 as a game, with its fun, simple gameplay, exploration, and super fun and side activities. But what about the overall story? Well, it's no masterpiece, Last of Us styled story, but I really do like it. I won't try to spoil it, but the game does have some good twists and turns and some pretty decent sad moments. 1 had a few good moments and 2 follows suit, not really going beyond, but definitely keeping up with 1. Dead Rising's music also bangs, with much of the music being things that you would hear in any shopping centre day to day, giving a great atmosphere, and some certified classic tracks were born in this game. But there is one way to expand it, and that was with 3 pretty big DLCs for the game, being Case Zero, Case West, and Off the Record. All of these are pretty good fun, with the first 2 being pretty short, but Off the Record to many is the definitive version of 2, and yeah, it improves things a little with new weapons, new psychopaths, and a new story, as the main character is now Frank instead of Chuck, and a whole new area to explore. I do like Off the Record, but I do have one problem with it. I like Chuck Green a bit more. Why? Well, unfortunately, I didn't play 1 first. I played 2 first when it was free on Xbox Live Gold for the 360. So Chuck has always been my personal favourite character, and I like him a bit more than Frank. I do like Frank. I just think Chuck works a bit better in 2's setting. Off the Record really shoehorned him into the story to try and make it work. Other than that, I really do love all of Dead Rising 2 content, with none of it being truly bad. This game to me is what I would recommend anyone as the first zombie game to play to get the freedom aspect of an apocalypse, and it's also really fun. I can't count how many times I've played this game. Truly the perfect zombie game. Oh, you want more action? Something more explosive? Huh. Okay. How about the Second King, with a more serious emphasis on shooting, linear campaigns, and co-op, where you
wait for official instruction. Wait my ass.
Kill all sons of bitches. That's my official instructions.
This used to be a nice neighborhood.
This is some grim shit we got ourselves into.
Get back! Get back!
Who the hell puts an evac station up 30 flights of goddamn stairs?
Come on, Coach. Maybe the helicopter. Maybe it's made of chocolate.
Hey, where is everybody? Hello?
Oh, this is not happening.
Anyone here?
This is not happening. This is not happening.
Aren't they supposed to be saving our asses?
Looks like there's been a change of plans.
Stop the bombing run!
It's got me!
Hang on!
What the hell?
Hey, kill all sons of bitches, right?
I have not come this far to die now.
Left 4 Dead, Valve's masterpiece released in 2011, developed on the Source engine, is a game that was truly ahead of its time, and to me is not only one of the best zombie games, but also my second favourite co-op shooter, falling just behind Payday 2. Left 4 Dead puts an emphasis on learning to work together, as if you don't, you will die. Oh, just shoot him in the head, you say? Well, wait until you hear a above you or a around the corner, or maybe a behind you. Soon you'll scurry back to your team. Left 4 Dead 2 has a great cast of zombies, with not only regular zombies, but special regular zombies like SWAT gear, hazmat, or location-based ones, but also the amazing, top of their class, special infected, with each one adding so much to the base game. I will now go through each special infected, explaining them and how fun they are. First up, the Boomer. This chunky boy focuses on throwing up and causing you to be the center of attention for a new horde. The Boomer acts as a disruption, halting your progress in the level, forcing you to stop and fight the incoming horde. However, these guys, with the slightest touch, causes them to blow up, which can also cover you in vomit. Now, how about some more combative guys? The Hunter acts on isolated members. Run too far ahead or fall behind, a Hunter most likely will pin you and shred you. These guys act to pull your team back, having to regroup if someone gets pinned. Similarly, the Smoker acts as disruption, pulling a human away from the group, forcing the group to go and retrieve them. However, got a melee weapon, quickly cut their tongue off. Easy way to counter. Introduced in Left 4 Dead 2, the Charger and Jockey both act as a type of disruption, either plowing through your team or pulling one away from the group at the worst possible time. Next is the Spitter, acting more as a support / tactical infected, with the ability to do some serious damage and also completely slow down the survivors by blocking their path. Now the next two are a bit different from the first lot, the first being the Witch, who just once aggroed on the player will one-tap them, insta-downing them. However, they only attack one player and either sit in place or wander. Get too close for too long or shine a light on them for too long, well, you better start blasting, or, you know, just ground them. And the Tank, the kind of boss in which the entire team needs to dump rounds into them to bring them down, as if not, the tank will do some serious damage either by punching or throwing rocks and cars at you. The game also had a few other modes like Survival, Scavenge, and my personal favourite, Mutations, allowing for a more customised experience. Well, what about the story of Left 4 Dead? Well, it's nothing to write home about. It's about 4 survivors trying to survive the apocalypse, going from place to place, trying to find a way to safety. Left 4 Dead's true story is told in its environment, with writing on the walls in the safe rooms or events during the campaign, like the Midnight Riders bus driving away. It builds this really fun world that feels very believable and lived in despite it being an apocalypse. But all stories need a protagonist. So what about the survivors? Well, there's 8, 4 for Left 4 Dead 1 and 4 for 2, and they're all top tier characters. My personal favourite is Nick, just a shady guy trying to survive the apocalypse, and to me, one with the best lines in the game. Ellis is the mechanic whom is very childish at times but keeps the group in high spirits. Coach is kinda the leader of the group and definitely dislikes stairs. And Rochelle acts as the big sister to the group, with no one having an issue with her and her being friendly with everyone. All the survivors have relationships with each other, all with unique dialogue to the events and actions performed by the player. Left 4 Dead 1 similarly has 4 separate characters with Francis, Bill, Zoe and Lewis, who all also have very different contrasting characters and unique relationships with each other. I like all the characters as they all bounce off each other really well, with conversations feeling very natural and purposeful, not just quipping for the sake of quipping. Now, let's talk weapons. Left 4 Dead gives you a really solid array of different weapons, from pistols to SMGs, shotguns to snipers. There's something for everyone, as well as having melee weapons and special heavy weapons all to fill a role, and all are effective at specific tasks. The auto shotguns are really good at killing witches. The SMGs, good for basic zombies. Assault rifles, solid choice and great way of dealing with specials at range. Each weapon also has different characteristics like reserve ammo, reload speed, and accuracy reset time, which makes each gun in the same class actually more preference based than what is the meta. Yes, the AK technically is the best AR in the game with one tap potential on most special infected, but the Scar feels nicer to me for running and gunning, so I tend to go with that personally. Melee is also super fun, with each weapon having slight different characteristics in how it plays and also how it hits. Is it blunt? Send them flying. Sharp? Cut heads and limbs off. The way zombies die is a massive part of the game. Shoot them in the leg, they trip on that leg. Shoot them in the head, they fly back. The visual feedback makes killing zombies so fun, and don't even get me started on the pipe bomb or other explosives. The game is broken up into campaigns, each with multiple chapters, making the game feel very well paced, as no chapter feels too long or too short, with each providing super unique scenarios to fight through, such as a hospital, an airport, a carnival, or even the swamp. I love Left 4 Dead's structure, and I really wish more games took inspiration from it. Not only do you have the campaign, but also versus mode, which allows for 4 survivors to face 4 infected, all played by real players, and this is where, to me, the real magic of Left 4 Dead is born. This setup is truly what makes the game timeless. To me, having some of the most fun moments occur to me in versus. I just wish more people still played it, as there isn't truly anything like it anymore in the gaming sphere. Left 4 Dead's music enhances its horror, playing into your emotions with tracks that match what is occurring in the game. So is that it? Well, no. Valve left a very key part of the game up to the community. That being Steam Workshop, allowing PC players to very easily mod the games, and this is what allowed Left 4 Dead to remain alive, unlike many other games that have challenged it. Its so-called successor, Back 4 Blood, didn't stand a chance. The quality of Left 4 Dead was leaps and bounds above, but Back 4 Blood also didn't have the content that the community would provide, like Left 4 Dead has, and it's truly endless. And with Back 4 Blood not having any sort of mod support, it was pretty much destined to die on arrival, and it did soon afterwards. Left 4 Dead is a true masterclass in game design, and if you're new to gaming in general and don't understand why people love Valve so much, pick up Left 4 Dead and play it. You will quickly understand why. The third game is a little bit more personal to me. It's a game that allows for a fun movement system to be tied into a fun combat system, creating one of the most satisfying games to play. That game being
this world is not meant for you. Run, boy, run. They're trying to catch you. Run, boy, run. Running is a victory. Run, boy, run. Break out from society. Run, boy, run. The sun will be guiding you. Run, boy, run. They're dying to stop you. Right inside of you, run, boy, run. This race is a prophecy, run, boy, run, and disappear in the trees. War is another day, and you won't have to hide away, You'll be a man, boy, but for now it's time to run.
Good night, and good luck.
Dying Light was developed by Techland, whom developed the Dead Island games, and it shows clearly in Dying Light. Released in 2015, players were treated to one of the most engaging zombie games on the market. Techland, after splitting from Deep Silver, partnered with WB Games, who helped them develop the zombie game that they wanted to make. A game that took what worked from the previous, the combat and zombie design, and then added an open world to explore with a brand spanking new, robust parkour system. These two systems interacting with each other made the game so fun to tinker with and master, and with the zombies being able to chase you, it made it even more thrilling. The game had its own special infected as well, which were all a bit derivative of Left 4 Dead's, or a kind of duplicates from Dead Island, but let's go through them, they're all pretty fun. You got the Biter, the Walker, your basic slow zombie, the Viral, the Fast Boy, which is the infected from Dead Island. You got the Goon, basically the Thug from Dead Island, a super strong zombie that will send you flying in one hit. The Toad, a projectile spitting zombie, kind of similar to the Spitter in Left 4 Dead, but it keeps spitting at you at a distance. The Demolisher, basically the ram and the tank rolled into one, a super tough guy that does a lot of damage and is also bulletproof due to the police gear. Super fun. The Bomber, it's the Suicider from Dead Island. It goes bang and you take damage. The Screamer, well, the screamer from Dead Island. They scream and zombies come running. However, they are children in Dying Light, which is one of the most shocking moments in the game, as no game had really done children zombies before, so yeah, it was a pretty cool visual. And finally, the most important one, the Volatile, the one this game was elevated with. This guy is super tough, fast, and a nightmare to deal with, only appearing during the nighttime or in dark areas. And that is a key part of this game, the nighttime. The tagline for this game was good night, good luck, because if you've never played this game before, well, you will seriously need the luck. If spotted by a viral or a volatile, they will chase you down parkouring after you. So not only do you have access to the parkour system, some of the zombies do as well. I love this about Dying Light, as it created some seriously fun moments for the game, as going out at night rewards you with bonus XP, creating this cool decision for the player to make. Do you go outside risking it all, as if you die, any XP earned during the night will be lost, or just wait till morning and be safe? If you choose to run at night, well, you're going to need some good weapons, and thankfully Techland took what Dead Island did and improved on it with a crafting system. Dying Light already had a large assortment of weapons, from knives to bats, machetes, axes, firearms and projectiles. You have a real nice selection here. You can then mod them with effects like electricity, fire, enhancing them. However, to make the game a bit more survivally, weapons can only be used a limited amount of time with durability, and also a limited amount of repairs possible for each weapon. So you cannot rely on a single weapon, you have to keep finding new ones. So the gameplay's great, but what about that story? It's okay, it's not terrible, but it's nothing to write home about. I kind of feel like the story is just there to give you a reason to run around and fight things. There are some good moments in the story, like the opening, the zombie baby, or traversing to the new area of the game. And the characters are okay, like Jade, Raheem and Brecken, but they don't do a lot, so I don't really have a lot to say. They're not super offensive or bad, they're just there. One thing, however, I personally don't like was the villain, Rise. He is just a ripoff of Voss from Far Cry 3, and it's kind of sad. I really do wish these games, both 1 and 2, had better villains. 2's is way worse, as it focused way too much on the story. 1, however, yeah, don't worry. Turn your brain off and run around, it's still a lot of fun, but 2 does suffer a lot from the bad story. Dying Light music helps to elevate the thrill of what is occurring, with some great tracks playing during a chase at night, getting your heart really going. The game would also receive a boatload of DLC and a large expansion in the following, which gave you a buggy. Many people love the following, myself included, but I wish it was more urban to allow for more parkour, as it kind of crams the car down your throat and doesn't really give you a choice if you want to use it. The secret ending though, with the nuke, is pretty fun though. Overall, I really love Dying Light to me, and it's a classic zombie game, and it is one of the best ones out there. However, something that all 3 of these zombie games lack, and all of my personal favorite games in the genre, is the aspect of surviving day to day in an apocalypse. Aspects like reinforcing a base or searching for supplies. Most zombie games don't even think about these aspects. While Dying Light and Dead Island have things like looting and stuff like that, they don't really push it to its limit. And the ones that do these things are either janky, terrible, or a scam. If only there was a game that did this. Wait, what's that? Oh boy, where do I start with Project Zomboid? This game was made for me in every single part of it. A lot of survival games make the mistake of making the game way too hard to goddamn play, with the UI and the fighting and it just being janky. Zomboid fixes this by making the game top down and simple looking. I love the game's art style so much. Side note, just please make more games like this, I love them. The game focuses on one thing: survival. There is no campaign, no side missions, nothing, only you and the world. And when starting the game tells you exactly what is going to happen to you. This is how you died, and you will again and again and again and again, all in different ways and places. But this is how the game makes you learn. And take it from someone who has spent hundreds of hours learning this game, it is one of the most rewarding games to play now. So what makes it so great? Well, it all starts with world creation. The game is a sandbox game after all, and allows you to fully customize the game to your liking. timers, how much loot spawns, the zombie density, it's all customizable. Then once you're done with that, you then move on to the character creator. You can customize your character, accessorizing him, and also give him a job and certain traits. And these two systems, the job and trait system, are what make the game so good. So you've got these trait points, and all jobs and traits require points to be either taken or they will give you points if you take them. So you want your guy to be a veteran, well, you get some bonuses to certain skills, that being guns, and you use up some of your points. Now, positive traits often are ones that you want to have. Things such as fit, strong, eagle-eyed, or organized, all being rather beneficial to you. However, if you want to take these good traits, you must also take some negative traits to balance it out, such as asthmatic, short-sighted, smoker, or slow reader. All in the name, really. I love this about Zomboid. As you're learning the game, you slowly build this build that you like with traits that benefit you or ones that don't work with your style. My build? Well, I take Lumberjack, the Axeman trait, then normally take things such as thin-skinned and slow healer, as I tend to avoid getting hit as much as possible, take Smoker, as smoking in this game has no real negatives other than helping you with depression, and normally pick up positive traits like fast learner, stout, and fit. This isn't the entirety of my build, but I won't ramble on about the build that I made. That works for me as I play more aggressive, but you might want to be more stealthy. You can go do that or be a pacifist. Go ahead, I don't know how long you'll last, but try it. The game's loot is insane with loads of melee and ranged weapons, food types all having different nutrition, and other items like books and office supplies all being used in some way. The people who survive the longest know exactly what they need and how to use what they have the best. The game also has fun radio stations and TV channels you can watch and listen to pass the time, each giving some good world building about how the world is faring with the apocalypse. And a few weeks in, everything goes silent, the power, the water goes off, and the true survival begins. This is another massive boon to the game, the start being slightly easier, but as time goes on it gets harder and harder with eventually you dying. The map is amazing as well, with everywhere having something to explore or use as a base, be it the prison, military base, a basic flat in the city, or a farmhouse in the middle of the woods. When starting the game, you have 4 different starter towns to choose from. Each have positives and negatives to each of them, so none are right or wrong. The easiest is Riverside, but it is the most boring with the least amount to do in it. However, these areas act as preparation for the true game, that being Louisville. When I first went to Louisville, this is when the game was solidified as the new king of the zombie genre to me. As no game had made surviving in a zombie apocalypse feel so fun, they're an amazing city to explore on top of that, and you make a game specifically engineered for my brain. Let's talk progression. How do you progress? Well, you have an array of skills, be it for combat, crafting, or general actions like running and sneaking, and like real life, as you use them, they improve. You can read a book or watch TV to help boost the rate in which you progress them, but you have to use them. If you don't use them, they can also decay, which can also all be modified in the world settings to make the game as easy or hard as you want it to be. The game has a rather complex mechanic system as well, which I still don't fully understand how to use, but you can completely repair car with parts, be it doors and engines and wheels, allowing you to maintain cars and bring them forward and never really have to replace them. Thought that was all well. There's also an in-depth tailoring system with clothes getting worn and damaged as you wear them, be it from tripping, getting attacked, or rain and stuff. You can then fix them if there's holes in them. This game genuinely has every part of a survival game in it, and it's perfect. The clothes also have stats to them with insulation and protection. Wear leathers? Well, zombies will struggle to bite you as their teeth can't get through the leather. Put on a nice thick jacket in the cold? Well, it'll keep you warm. If it gets a bit hot and you have too many layers on, well, now your shirt is completely soaked and could cause a cold for you now. All of these games' different mechanics all tie into each other, each playing and interacting with each other, making the game one of the most realistic survival experiences that a game can provide. So how does Zomboid present its apocalypse? Well, on the radio and TV stations I just mentioned, you'll hear reports of the apocalypse and how it's going, and there'll be mentions of things such as a military blockade in front of Louisville, trying to protect the population. Now, if you're like me, you'd be interested in this and want to find out what's happening, so you'd venture over there and find the military blockade completely overrun by zombies, creating a great atmosphere for the game, and genuinely nothing like it in the gaming industry. Zomboid has some great music, elevating the atmosphere, matching what is happening in the game. A horde chasing you, music changes. Just chilling in your base, some nice chill music will play, truly elevating the feel of what's occurring in the game. Zomboid's magic isn't in its combat alone, or exploration, or survival mechanics alone, as they're all pretty simple on a base level. It's when they're all tied together, they create a masterpiece into making. And with the developers, IndieStone, still working on the game is slowly but surely becoming a game that I believe will leave a massive mark on the gaming industry and show how to make a game with a multiple array of simple gameplay mechanics very engaging. And this is why it's now one of my favorite zombie games ever made. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is more of a personal video for me that I wanted to make, and I will continue the other video series in the future. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, like and subscribe. I do plan on doing more videos like this. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you for watching. See you around. Crocodile.